Hey girls, Coach Patty Bourdonnais here, finally, after a few weeks of no lives. I'm back and I love doing lives with you. I feel like I wish that you were in my office with me right now because it's me talking to a phone, but my heart and my brain is, we're talking to you. So today we are going to discover the truth. That is the big question. We're talking about trends versus truth. We are being bombarded with information now. Look, we grew up in the 70s and the 80s and some of you the 90s where, we didn't have all of this stuff. And all of a sudden we are being hit with take this pill, drink this shake, eat this diet. And we don't know very often, okay, what really works. So what I want you to do is when you jump on here, say hi to me. I want you to ask questions. Very often I can't see it real time. So I'm just praying that as you pepper me with questions, I can actually answer those because that's what today is about. My passion in life is to get you settled, to get you empowered, for you to know, okay, that's crap. This is what I'm doing and why. So let's go. Sydney's here. Who else? Anybody? Nobody. Me and you, girl. Let's go. Okay. First of all, a funny story. Sandy says hi from Seattle. Oh, good. Sydney, hi from Virginia. It's hot as Sam Hale in Virginia, isn't it? So good. Yeah. Talk to me, girls. Carol. Hi. I feel like now it's fixed. Somehow in the past lives, I wasn't able to see you guys or hear from you. So, this is something I want to share with you before we get going. Very often when I'm preparing a coaching or a teaching, a little sweet validation will come. And sure enough, 2 days ago on a phone consult, which I give all the time, this girl who's now a client, I'm so excited, said the words, I just want to know what the truth is. What is the truth? And this is what she said. I want to do this the right way, but there's so much information. I don't know, which to pick. And that was like, yes, I'm doing this for the right girls, for the right reasons. So, let's go. Sydney says, yes, it really is, right? It's crazy inundation. So what I'm going to do, first of all, is tell you that anything that I give you is going to be based in real research, evidence-based science. It is not, I'm a nurse, first and foremost. I am not an influencer, have no interest in that. If I can impact you and influence you based in truth, let me do it. But I'm not selling any sort of MLM supplements and all that crap. I'm here to empower you. And what I'm giving you is based in science, not in gimmicks or trends or whatever. Okay, so that's first. Everything I give you today is going to be backed up by proof. Okay, so, and then what I'm going to do is just go step by step through each of the most popular trends that I've been hearing about lately and tell you, is it helpful for you as a woman over 40 or is it just stupid? We don't have time to waste. Do you feel like that? The older you get, the more you're like, I ain't got time for this. So that's why I called my program Simple Steps, is because girls our age who have a job to do, we don't try to make it complicated. So frog in my throat. Let me get a drink. Speak to me. Kim says marketing fads are not science, right? It's the science of marketing. They're learning how to sell you. Okay. So sorry about frog in my throat. This is part of menopause, by the way. Frog in your throat. So trend number 1, is it helpful or dumb? Protein coffee. It can be partially helpful because it's just your protein powder or your collagen dumped in your coffee. And this immediately, especially if you're someone who's not a big breakfast person and you choose to fast, and we're going to talk about fasting, it can mitigate, first of all, it gets you started on your protein goal being met. And it also can mitigate any sort of blood sugar drops or really even spikes. So really it is a blood sugar stabilizer. It gets you ahead on your protein goal first thing in the morning. So I am a fan of protein coffee. Now, do you have to buy a protein coffee? No. You can have coffee, dump your protein powder in there, and that's protein coffee. Don't complicate it. The second one that I want to cover that's in the same kind of vein as protein goals is, and this one makes me laugh. I'm sorry. It's so dumb. Cottage cheese. Like, what is happening in the universe with cottage cheese? So it's so funny to me. And it is propagated by social media and groupthink, is once you see it somewhere, it is everywhere. We are putting cottage cheese in perfectly good muffins. We are putting it in everything. To me, it is really, really stupid and unnecessary. But listen to me say this. It's not harmful. If you want to mess up your muffins with cottage cheese, then go ahead. You know, maybe you love it. That's okay. I tried it and I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life. And this is why I feel like this. You can get an extra, literally like maybe 3 to 5 grams of protein by putting it into a muffin. That's 3 to 5 small paper clips. That's how much you're getting extra. So if you like the idea, if you're creative and you're a recipe trier, go for it. But it is not necessary. You can meet your protein goal without ruining your food with cottage cheese. So that's how I feel about that. That one can be partially helpful, but it's not 100% not necessary. So moving on. Apple cider vinegar and green powders, like supplement powders for veggies. There is some evidence that apple cider vinegar can be helpful to for insulin resistance issues and for post meal glucose stability. Now, so there's some of that, but is it a magic bullet? No, it's not. So is it going to help you lose weight? No, it's probably not. I'm pretty darn sure, 100% sure, 99% sure it's not going to help you lose weight, but it will mitigate any sort of blood sugar instability for a period of time. So if you're an apple cider vinegar person, it's not going to hurt you to take it, but don't think of it as this is going to really help me get rid of this belly. It's not. Will it make you feel better after you've eaten a big carby meal? It might, because the research shows that it can keep that blood sugar from a little bit more. Listen, it's not going to flatline your blood sugar the way that nourishing food and protein will, but it will prevent spikes and dips being so spiked and so dipped. Does that make sense? And then the green powders are fall into the same category. They're not, most of these fall into the category of it's not magical. So similar to a multivitamin, it can fill in the gaps. But it's not, I would prefer that you go for more vegetables, the actual single ingredient food, than spending. We were trying to do AG1. And we were like, we're spending $90 a month on this stuff. And it's not very good. Like, I didn't love it. Some people love it, but it was just smelly and it wasn't as expensive. And it really, there's not a lot of research that says it does a great job replacing your broccoli. So that falls into the same category of won't hurt you, but probably isn't going to change your life. Question. Sydney says, none of that junk will help you in the end. It takes grit and time and determination and work. Oh, yeah. Sandy says, I love cottage cheese with fruit. Yeah, me too, with pineapple. But you don't have to. I think that women are looking for, oh, I'm supposed to be doing cottage cheese now. They say it's really good for my weight loss or my whatever. And that's just not the truth. Okay, so what's next? Ask questions if you have them. Any sort of hormone balancing, if it claims to balance your hormones or detox you in the way of teas or coffee, this is crap. 100% bunk. So there is no evidence-based science that you can drink a particular tea in order to balance your hormones. That's a gimmick. There's no need for a tea to help you detox. That is the function of God's design for your liver. Your liver is the detox mechanism for your whole body. So can it hurt you to have a tea? No, but it's not going to help you balance your hormones. It's just not. So that's, I won't even belabor that. Walking 10,000 steps as if 10,000, what? Yeah, that's 10,000. I was like, is it 10,000? Or 10, whatever. Anyway, 10,000 steps. It can't hurt you, but that number was chosen arbitrarily. There's a funny story about how that came about, but it's not a science number. So you can hit your 10,000. I love that for you. It's excellent for your brain and your body and your organs and your muscles, all of the things. It cannot hurt you to walk 10,000 steps, but it is also not a magical number. If you walk 8, if you walk 48, it's all about getting out there and moving and not being sedentary. So hear me say that 10,000 is not a magical number that will all of a sudden help you lose weight. It's not. So that's, Oh, vests. I love this actually. So now there's this big trend of weighted vests. I like them if that's the level at which you are, functioning. If you're able to walk quickly and a long period of time without a vest, or if you're a jogger or a runner, then you can add the vest. If you have just started moving for the first time since middle school, I don't want you in a vest yet. Let's just start to move, and let's in that walk start to do some HIIT workouts. So meaning, get your doctor's permission, but warm up, challenge yourself, recover, and do that same pattern over and over until then you're like, oh my gosh, I'm walking for 20, 25, 30 minutes now and I feel good. Then add the vest and start with a very, very low weight. So listen to me, girls. This is just about weight bearing exercise. It can be dumbbells. It can be bands. It can be a weighted vest. But the idea is that our bones and our muscles are designed to need that weight. To resist the weight resistance training. So yes, I'm a fan of weighted vests if that's where you are in your fitness level. So questions about that? That was a really big one. Hey, Lily. Okay. So now next, any sort of cortisol belly fat supplements. Listen, girls, if there is any sort of language like melt, nothing is going to melt your belly fat. Nothing is going to burn your belly fat. That is all marketing gimmick language that is very tempting if you're sick of your belly. But the thing that really is being touted for menopausal women is cortisol supplements or supplements for menobelly. And listen, it's not cortisol. This is what happens with cortisol. It is the gatekeeper of our stress hormone. Cortisol is one of them is estrogen. So when our estrogen goes down, this cortisol is free flowing and it can do whatever it wants, right? So now we are what you would say more, our stress response is more brittle. We're more sensitive to stress response because our gatekeeper is an old girl, right? You understand? So now, that is one reason that you have that belly. right? So that is hormonal, and we're going to talk about supplements that may help with that in just a second. But the second thing that you need to hear me say about cortisol is God gave it to us for good reasons too. It's what wakes you up in the morning. So there are good parts of that stress hormone. But the second thing outside of the hormone balance, and we're going to talk about that, is your lifestyle. You cannot take a pill that's going to replace good habits, good sleep, low life stress, where you are setting boundaries and you have structure. So just hear me say that. It is, they're going to try to bait us because we are vulnerable. We hate the way this belly looks. We don't like the way it feels. Just get it off of me. Oh, your pill melts it? I love melting. No, it's a gimmick. So your marching orders for cortisol are to look hard at your habits, look hard at your sleep routine, look hard at your stress that you can control, and then you can watch that cortisol come down. That is your best bet on that. Now, are there supplements that can and have science-based evidence? Remember, is there evidence that some supplements can help with the stress response? The answer is yes. And they look like, rhodiola is a really good one. Ashwagandha is another one. You girls probably know several of these. So you can try that and see, gosh, this really does seem to be helping me. But again, please hear me say this. You can take all the rhodiola in the world, and if your life is a hot mess in the way of your habits and your sleep routine and your boundaries and your schedule, ain't a rhodiola universe going to help you. So just really get that picture. If you are working on mitigating stress and taking rhodiola or ashwagandha or whichever one, it can help, but it's not going to save you. It's not a magic pill. That's huge. You hear that? So, okay, comments on that. Okay, so let's keep going. I love it that y'all are here with me. Okay, fasting. You ready? So your gut, and my clients know this because I teach this all the time. Your gut loves a fast. However, if you are over the age of 40, for intermittent fasters, listen to me. If you are a female over the age of 40 in perimenopause or menopause, any sort of fast beyond the 13 or 14 hour window causes a stress response. So again, we're back to cortisol spiking, where all of it can mess up. It can put you in a hormone, vortex of some sorts, where your ghrelin and your leptin and your all these hormones get kind of wonky because our bodies, again, remember estrogen? She's an old girl now. She doesn't really care what cortisol does anymore. She's just down here taking a nap. And so the bottom line is, if you are fasting and she's asleep and you're going into hour 15, hour 16, your cortisol level is going to spike, and it will have the opposite effect of what you're trying to accomplish, and that is gut health and weight loss. So really look hard at and listen, anything I'm telling you, you can go Google it and look for science-based research on fasting for women over 40 and read the articles yourself. But the bottom line is, I don't want any of my people, my clients especially, and you girls that are within the sound of my voice, to fast longer than, I like 13 hours. 14 hours maybe, but then you're shooting yourself in the foot any longer than that. So there, I'll leave that there. But I don't like breakfast. So I don't eat my first meal until about 12 or 13 hours after my last meal. It's just how, and it works. It's just how I am. Now fasting, is another thing. You hear a lot about fasted workouts. I don't want you to do that. I want you to have a little bit of something on board before you work out. Because again, your estrogen is sleeping. She's not working out at all anymore. and your cortisol is like, yay, we're working out. Watch what I can do to you. So really, once you get that food in you, this cortisol doesn't have as much of a free reign. So just a little, if you're not I don't want you to make yourself sick for your workout, but I also don't want you going into a really hard workout totally fasted anymore. That did work for us. Listen, this is so important. You are not, I don't have to tell you, you ain't 25 anymore. Neither am I. And so the things that used to work for us just don't work anymore because we're different physiologically than we used to be. The things that work for men do not work for us. Dr. Stacy Sims says all the time, we are not little men. We're not. But a lot of the research that we've been following and all these trends, they work for men because the research was done on men, not women. So that's the thing is your husband can have a 14, 15 hour fast and lose 15 pounds in 2 weeks. You, my girl, it'll stop you cold. So that's the deal on fasting. Questions on that? Shoot me if you have them. Beef organ supplements. Listen, they are nutrient dense and they can be beneficial if you have a B12 deficiency, if you are anemic. High doses can be toxic, especially apparently in vitamin A. So this is the thing about any sort of magical supplement like beef organ that's coming across your feed all of the time. It is a bunch of bunk if they're telling you it's going to change your life. It's not. If you're vitamin deficient, I would prefer that you get your vitamins met through real food. But if this is something you want to try, be very, very careful with it. And no, it's not going to change your life. It's just going to give you more B12. And oh yeah, you could take that in a B12 complex supplement. So they're harmless, but also kind of dumb. I saw a question. Can I protein before workout or carbs? A little bit of both. And the carb, I prefer, if you want to have a fast burning starch, you can, but do not overdo it. I prefer still fruit, before your workouts. Okay. So, carnivore diet. It's so hard for me not to speak my mind. It's just straight up dumb. Listen, this is the thing about the carnivore diet is it has been shown to lower inflammation, for a period of time. And if you are highly inflamed, you can maybe benefit from the carnivore diet short term. Long term, it's absurd. I mean, how are you getting your nutrients, right? If all you're eating is red meat, where's your fiber coming from? So it's just, again, one of those things that people will swear by. Maybe they were super inflamed. Maybe, listen, a lot of these diets, like this that are trendy, that people say, I lost 25 pounds. Well, chances are the reason they lost 25 pounds was not because there's some magic in red meat all the time and no other nutrients. It's because they were eating 5,000 calories every day. And now on this diet, they're back where they should be at, whatever the number would be, 2,000, 1,200, 50, whatever that person's calorie deficit is. So anytime you see, here's another one, OMAD, 1 meal a day, dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my life. It drives me insane because 1 meal a day, there is no way for her body to be nourished in 1 meal a day. Will she lose weight? You better believe it. She is in a deep calorie deficit and it isn't sustainable and it's not healthy and it's quite dangerous. So just beware of, you're going to see the before and the after, but know that most of the time it's because they got their calories under control, not because there's some magic behind the method. So collagen supplements, I've done a lot of teaching on this and I'm looking for comments. Here's Sydney saying collagen, biotin, and probiotics. Collagen is one of the very few supplements like creatine who actually, achieve what they tout. So they are proven over and over again that for joints and bone and skin and hair, they are excellent. Creatine is more about muscle preservation and muscle building. It's also been proven to help neurology. So those two supplements, collagen and creatine, are excellent. Watch for gimmicks. Some collagen's very, very big with MLM influencers. Some brands, I did not do the research on the gimmicky brands. I have, I'm not getting paid to do it, but I love Ancient Nutrition is the collagen brand that I recommend because it has vitamin C in it and it's tasteless. So, vitamin C helps, metabolize collagen more efficiently and effectively. And instead of taking two supplements, it's all bundled into one. And so Ancient Nutrition is the one that I like, but collagen helps, absolutely, but watch the brand. Just make sure it's legit. And there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of good ones. And I think you can sniff out the ones that are dumb. It's usually a 22-year-old telling you about her wrinkles. Am I right? Okay, let's go. I had a question. Biotin. Yes, biotin works. Probiotics, essential, but get a good brand. Probiotics are especially helpful. I had raging IBS my whole life, basically. And it changed my life to take a good probiotic. I take Flora, Florastor, Florastor, recommended by my gut doctor. And it changed my life. So yes, probiotics, I'm a fan. What is the best way to find high quality supplements? For example, vitamin D. There's so many inferior or lower quality brands in this unregulated industry. You should ask your coach, Kim. And I can do that. I have that already and I've given it lots and I'll give it again where I have, and it's hard for me because I'm not selling anything and I'm not sponsored by anybody or anything like that, but I can vet certain brands for you girls if that would be helpful. Let me know if it is. And Kim, you're my client. I'll get that right to you. But you have to be careful. You have to have someone that knows what to look for. And there's also language. I think I did a whole thing on supplements with you girls, but language to watch out for. If it says, for instance, on your supplements, if it says a proprietary blend, it means it could be anything. It could be nothing. And they don't have to tell you because that's their blend. We blend nothing with nothing. That'll be $35. So you just have to watch for the right language on supplements, and then I will vet some brands for you. So yeah, I'll do a post about that. That's a good question. I'm using Orgain. Yeah, Orgain is okay, but watch for artificial sweeteners. A lot of the protein powders and such that say organic, if anything is screaming organic, read the ingredients. That's very often a marketing gimmick. And Orgain, if I remember correctly, has artificial sweeteners in it that can wreck your gut if you're not careful. I find out immediately, oh my gosh, I double over in pain. So if it's not affecting you and you're not, taking tons of it, it's probably harmless. But watch for artificial sweeteners, especially in things that they say are organic. It's sad. So collagen supplements. Here's the last one. Any sort of supplement that can speed up your metabolism. Now, I would say 99% of the time it's complete crap, because your friend with speeding up your metabolism is a calorie deficit and muscle building and nourishing food. That's how you speed up your metabolism. Ain't a pill in the world really that's gonna, do magical work firing up your metabolism. It's just not a thing. Now, having said that, two that I can kind of say might be helpful is green tea extract has been proven to help a little bit, speeding things up, and CLA, conjugated linoleic acid. It's just not, they can help, there's evidence, but it's not a long-term solution. And you would likely have to, drink it by the 5-gallon bucket to really get the results that you're looking for, which really brings me to, so those were the trends. Let's talk about the truth. we as girls in from the 70s and the 80s, growing up, little girls, you know, Slim Fast, Dexatrim, we did all of the things, and we watched our mothers do all of the things. And I have so much compassion for the fact that we were traumatized, and we are still looking for a quick fix. So we feel miserable. We did this to ourselves. Why am I here again? We have all these emotions, right? And we also physically feel gross. Our clothes aren't fitting. And now across your feed comes a fat burner, or or try this, and you'll do what I do, and you'll lose 30 pounds by Friday, right? And we're just so vulnerable, and it is so tempting. And listen, any of the things that I just gave you that do work, a little bit of green tea extract, a little bit of apple cider vinegar, collagen, they still are just supplements. They're not the main thing. And what I really want us to be aware of is looking for apple cider vinegar to save me from my belly, and to help me get back into my clothes. There's no such solution except what I'm about to give you. And this is where the truth comes in. You ready? All right. Questions before I go to part 2 of this sucker. Sydney says there's no artificial sweeteners in Orgain. Good. I had the wrong brand. Sorry about that. How do you balance your hormones and lose your belly and fit back into your clothes and get your energy back after 40? Perimenopausal, menopausal, nothing seems the same. You're discouraged. You feel ashamed because you feel like you did this to yourself. Or you might be bitter because you feel like life did this to me. I gave and gave and gave and gave and gave, and now I'm a hot mess. Right? I hear these stories all of the time. And if you are frustrated, if you feel powerless and confused, I want you to hear me say the following things. You ready? This is the truth. Number 1, it does not have to be complicated. So we know there's no pills or shakes that are magical. There's not. But then you enter into the phase of, well, what if I intermittent fast, or what if I go carnivore? Then we enter the nutrition phase, right? Of maybe there's no pills, but maybe this food program will work. And what I want to tell you is that those are so complicated, and the majority of them are so unsustainable that it's again, just complicating your circumstance with more nutty variables that you don't need. So that's the first thing I need you to hear me say is it can be simple. It's why I called my program Simple Steps Weight Loss System, because the complication out there was ticking me off. So that's the first thing you need to hear me say. Try the supplements that are evidence-based that I just gave you that work. They can't hurt you unless you're nut about it. But then realize the way that you're going to get this weight off is by good habits. That's first. Second would be a good nutrition plan. You cannot, listen to me, you cannot lose weight if you are guessing about your food and if you are not in a calorie deficit. It's impossible. You are not an anomaly to science, although, gosh, do we wish we were, right? If we could eat whatever we wanted, or just kind of eyeball things, or just kind of, then none of us would be in this situation, right? But the truth is, you have to have a good nutrition strategy that works with your life. It has to include all your favorites. My girls drink margaritas at the lake. They have pizza. They have dessert when they go out. They know how to use and place their favorite real food into a nutrition plan where they're still losing weight and they're still healthy. And listen, that fixes their relationship with food. Margaritas on the lake and pizza are no longer the devil. I just know now I can't have the whole pizza. and what I have to eat all day before the pizza comes. So it's really about having a nutritious strategy in a calorie deficit that works for your life, fixing that relationship with food, having good habits. Girls, you cannot lose weight and feel your best and have your biggest impact in life if you're working on 4 or 5 hours of sleep. I don't care if you've done it since high school. It does not work for you. It's working against you to have broken sleep, to have no sleep. So again, that's one of the habits. Hydration, another habit. Movement, another habit. So, the thing that I want you to hear me say too is that muscle building is a huge, big, it's the way to stay healthy after 40. You have to start building muscle intentionally in order to keep your metabolism burning at a healthy rate, and also to keep things in place. Remember, I did that whole coaching video series on why we lift weights. Now, I just blasted you with the truth, right? You cannot think of this as, oh my gosh, I have to change my whole life. How am I going to do this? Right? So what I want you to do is just take the parts that you can fix. If you don't know your calorie deficit and you don't want a coach, then you can go find your calorie deficit on all the million apps that help you do that. It's doable, right? You can look at plate method if you're not a calorie logger. I have 2 clients right now using the plate method. One has lost 27 pounds and the other one's on her way. You know who you are. And this is the thing. But regardless, you have to be conscious of, okay, what am I consuming and in how much, right? So just start there. Keep it simple. Move to your habits. If you're going to bed at midnight and getting up at 5:30, you can fix that. So look at the things, girls, that are within your power and that don't overwhelm you that you can fix. And then this is what happens. You will be, as you feel better, you're more rested, you're more nourished, it starts to propagate itself. And then you want to go to bed on time because you know you're not going to feel good in the morning. You're going to want to get that water down because you get a headache at 2 o'clock when you've had 3 sips of water. So really, if you can just make the very initial baby steps, then they have a huge impact and they get momentum on their own. So let me see questions. We've gone 37 minutes. I don't want to keep you too long. Kim, she says you definitely have to be sure you're getting enough calories. I'm so glad you said that, Kim. It's not only being in a calorie deficit, like we have we got here because we were overeating, right? So food made me fat. So now I'm not going to eat any food. That won't work. Kim can tell you, she's my client. And and like a lot of people, for the majority of her life, I'm not kidding you. It's probably between 70 and 80% of the women I serve fall into the boat of, I eat about 800 calories, 900 calories. And then all of a sudden we dump in 12. That's me, actually. I'm a meal skipper if I'm not careful. And then all of a sudden we have dinner and it's 1600 calories and it's delish. Well, that will stop weight loss. So yes, you have to know your calorie amount and meet it. Lily says, have to have my margarita on the lake. Patty has taught me so much. Makes me cry. Yes, good. Yeah, Lily. Like, it's just, we walk in simple steps. I teach my clients how to live their real life. Are you kidding me? You're not going to go to the lake and not have a margarita at a sunset. That's ridiculous. So it's learning how food works, how your body works, and how to put them together in a successful, healthy way. Sydney says, it looks like sleep is her biggest thing. 4 or 5 hours. No, you got to get more than that. It's hard. I know, but you can do it. You can change that. I naturally wake up between 2 and 3. That's typically a progesterone issue, is if you're a waker up, if you have sleep issues, we can look hard at your progesterone. So girls, I don't want to keep you any longer, but this is what I want to tell you. I don't want you overwhelmed. That's number 1. Keep it simple. You just look at the basics: nutrition, movement, habits. Which one do you need to attack first? Which one do you have the most control over that you're just kind of procrastinating, right? And then realize you are not in a hurry. So you don't need to get in a bikini by July 4th anymore. Those days are, remember that? We would just starve ourselves till we looked good. So no, those days are over. Now for you, it is about getting strong and healthy and empowered so you know what you're doing so that you can live the second half of your life just functional and energetic and there for your people. Listen, I'm going to say this last thing. Girl, you have got too much wisdom and too much experience now that you are not 25 anymore, to hide, to stifle, to not have the energy to share because you don't feel good. So think about this. Your impact in life is essential to your family, to the people that God brings into your life. But if you are too tired to get out of bed, if you feel self-conscious all the time because you don't know how to get in a calorie deficit or you refuse, whatever it is, right? Then what happens is the world doesn't get you. And it makes me cry. You are so valuable with what you know and what you have to give that to invest in your health is a gift to the world after it's a gift to you. So if you need help with that, let me know. You know where to find me. You can DM me. My program will open again at the end of next month. What month is this? At the end of the summer, I'll start taking on big groups of clients again. Right now, I'm only taking a few clients that come in that I know solid are a fit. Welcome to Leah. I love you already. But the big doors open at the end of August. So, and in between time, if you have questions or you need help, you can still DM me. I'm here. And then check your emails. I give free coaching and email all the time. So girls, I love you. Let me check for last questions. Doesn't look like there are any. Your marching orders are just to take baby steps, little tiny steps. Okay. And if you need help, you know where to find me. So, have a great rest of your week. Stay hydrated in this heat and we'll chat soon. See ya.